Michaels and Lake, my faves. How are you? Currently in this wild season, we're currently in the Dominican Republic, which I love for you, Michaels. But before we get to that, let's go back a couple episodes. Let me tell you, I was worried about the two of you, besties, fighting. There was tears, but you all solved it. I mean, what was it like to go through that? Because it kind of hurt my heart a little bit.
It hurt mine too. I don't want to fight with my brother
I'm
ever.
cold. I'm like, I don't care. Go cry in a corner.
I know when you said we don't need an audience, go away. I was like, ooh, ooh.
You know the funny thing is, so we get the episode a few days before you guys. And so when we got the episode, we watched it together on my couch and I was like, "You were so mean to me." And we had another little fight while we were watching
Yeah, he started it this time
I
though.
was like, I was like, "You're mean. Like, why are you being so mean?" But ultimately, it was like a misunderstanding, and we worked it out, and we fight like brother and sister. That's our
Yep.
relationship, and that's always been our relationship. We love each other. We'll fight for a whole day, and then be good in the next hour.
Yeah, no, I'm glad the two of you are back together. Thank goodness.
Yes, yes.
The most recent episode, and I feel like, Michael's first, I want to talk to you about that. What's it like for you to bring this friend group to the Dominican Republic and really show them more about who you are and that part of yourself?
It felt very surreal, and when we got there, it didn't really feel real until I feel like tonight's episode, like when we go to the church, is really when I was feeling it.
Mhm.
I think just being able to go back to my roots and show everybody, I feel like my first initial, like my friends are like my family, it really stuck the most there. Just to be able to take everybody to explore, to go out of the country, but not only to support Maddie, but support me and to just have fun. I feel like as much as it was personal, we still made sure to have fun, and there was obviously drama. Um, but I don't know, I'm very grateful. Yeah, I feel like surreal is definitely the perfect word to like use to describe to
And
bringing
nostalgic.
everybody. Yeah, for
Nostalgic.
sure.
Yeah.
Like a lot, this episode, there's a lot of conversation about your romantic life.
Mm.
Lots comes up, there are rumors, you kind of set the record straight, but what's it like for you? Because you've made it very clear that you are attracted to both men and women, you date both men and women, but then
Yeah.
you kind of got to answer to both sides of it for both, for this group. What's it like to have to do
Can
that?
I clear the era
Yes.
on this rumor? So the rumor is a complete rumor. There is no truth behind it. I did not have a threesome with Oshin, and I never had a threesome with Oshin. That night, I went home with my date, the girl that I brought to Joe's birthday party, and that was all who I went home to. And so this fabricated rumor was a lie that spread and grew legs. And I cleared that up. I was like, it was a lie. It did not happen. We didn't have a threesome. No threesome took place. But, then I had to later admit that years before we did have relations. And
A year before.
it years before, it was in 2024, it's 2026 now. Um, but you know, it happened, and so I had to voice and talk about that. But he also did not have a girlfriend. Like, the rumor was spread that he had a girlfriend when he did not have a girlfriend. He was not in any relationship whatsoever when I had those relations with him. But yeah, I mean, the only person I went home with that night for Joe's birthday was Nessa.
I gotta say, it was really, seeing your backstory, especially with last season, it was sweet when you called your mom in the confessional chair in that moment and said, you know what, I had to talk about this. And she was really supportive. She was like, I'm sorry. She wasn't like trying to be a hard mom on you. What's it like to kind of have this, progressed relationship with your mom and your family? Because, I know you were so open about speaking about your
Yeah.
identity and sexuality last season.
Yeah, yeah. So with my mom, I feel like we've always had this kind of closer relationship, and I tell her everything, even when she doesn't want to hear everything, I'll tell her anyway, and she'll tell me straight up. I mean, as you could see, she even gave me some tough love and Ediso. And so we have this candid, beautiful relationship that is just amazing. I love my mom so much. And even with coming out to my mom, I came out to my mom when I was in fourth grade. You know, I was in fourth grade. I came to her one day and I was like, Mom, I am a lesbian. and, and she was like, Do you even know what that means? She's like, I was like, I don't know, but maybe I might be bi. She's like, Do you even know what that means? And I was like, I have a crush on a girl in my class. And I was in fourth grade when I did that. And even though I was so young, she was still so understanding of that situation and just being there for me and being there for me with whoever I like or whoever I choose to be with. I think with my dad, it was kind of like a learning thing for him. He's learning things for the first time. He grew up in this environment where it was never really talked about to like somebody with the same gender as you. And so it was kind of harder to have those conversations. But, you know, you see in the reunion that me and him kind of had this heart to heart conversation that I expressed to everybody that I'm proud that we took that step forward and I'm proud of our relationship now, even though that there was a hiccup in between. There was like a few months where we didn't speak to each other. But yeah.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that. And, I think, Blake, it's great how you've given context and what it's like to come from, a wealthy Black family in the South and how, that can really, tradition and a lot of things can be tricky when it comes to that. So thank you for that.
Of
Michael,
course.
on that note, I gotta say, it's not new, but I feel like you're in an even greater mode of confidence, as you should be. As you said, you work too hard on that body to hide it. How how has your relationship with your family? Because I feel like you're very happy with who you are, and you're like, you know what, this is me, and if you don't like it, that's on you.
You can leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my biggest thing is going into this season compared to last. I think a lot of it had to do with that first relationship that I was in. I feel like just going through that, really finding myself more, really understanding what it is that I like, really embracing my sexuality more. I feel like, for example, like this season, I'm wearing like a Speedo all the time. And I'm like, last year, if you would have brought me a Speedo and were like, hey girl, put this on, like we're going to the beach, I would have been like, ew, I'm not wearing that. But now this time around, I don't know what it is. Something like in the water switch, and I was like, I don't really care. Like I only live once. I'm very confident in myself. I feel like I had a lot of more self-confidence, especially when the relationship dynamic in my family changed for the better. It almost kind of made me want to embrace my sexuality 10 times more, and also even be in a place where I can be like, I don't really need to like be ashamed. Like I'm on a television show. Like I'm gonna watch this back in like 10 years and I'm not gonna want to sit there and be like, damn, I wish I would have, been more confident, or I wish I would have been more myself, or I wish I would have said this in the moment. So I think really embracing the being unapologetically myself aspect of just coming back this season and coming back stronger and having a better mindset and not being afraid to speak my mind is really what helped me.
Blake, what do you think? And Michaels, I'll ask you after. We've been seeing it all season and last season. TJ and Michaels, is there ever a future, or what do you think? Because we're still seeing at this moment Friends with benefits
I
and
never shipped it.
why?
I
Why?
never shipped it. Because they're on two different levels. They're on two different levels. Y'all
Michaels,
are on
do
two different wavelengths.
you agree,
Uh,
Michaels?
I think that I'm very playful and lighthearted and like looking for a good time, and TJ's more so looking for his long life
he's
partner.
a lot older.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
no,
know, my
He's like 13 years older than me, so
Michael's
I
is
feel like
23.
we're definitely on two different pages in life. I don't know. It honestly, watching it back is almost kind of weird just because we're in a completely different place now.
I cringe when they kiss.
when
Like
you say a completely different place now, are we still friends, or what's the latest?
I don't even know what. Like
oh,
I don't know you. I mean, you have to watch a reunion to really see where things are left. I don't really want to spoil anything. I'm more so I feel like the best way to put it is just
acquaintances.
no, I wouldn't say acquaintances. I would just say the best way to put it is, when you come together and you have the whole friends with benefits thing, it's kind of hard to not be weird or
Yeah.
for it to be weird afterwards. So I feel like it's in one of those areas where it's just kind of like things need to just do its thing over time, and then we can revisit it later on and reassess and figure out what the friendship looks like.
Mhm.
Fair. I think that's very true. I know friends with
Yeah.
benefits can get tricky, but thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. And guess what? That reunion sounds juicy. So more to come on that. Lastly, I want to talk to you. So the whole situation, which actually was like the reason why the two of you got into a fight, surrounded this situation with Emmy and Brad. And
Mhm.
I think it's brought up a lot of conversations around race and what does that mean, and I think there's been a lot of question on intention. What was it like for you? Because it's hard when it's this friend group and then you're, both trying to navigate it as much as
Mhm.
easy as you can, but also with your own experience. What was it like to kind of be having to figure out the sides of that?
I think my biggest thing is it wasn't really about sides. It was more so like, okay, what you're saying is wrong
Mhm.
and you need to make it right. So let's focus on doing that. I'm not the biggest fan of the like gang up thing or like the, you know, you're wrong and hold a person to the fire. I think my biggest thing is just more so like we're all in a group of
Corrected.
friends together. What you said is wrong. Let's correct it. Be able to move forward, educate so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Because it makes things very difficult, especially when two people in the group that we all love and care about so much have such a big falling out, especially when there's so much history there, especially even before Lake and I came and they had a friendship even before the show.
Mhm.
So I think just watching it just get to a really dark place where it just feels like there's no coming back from is really difficult too. But yeah,
And I want to make clear that I was never complacent with Emmy's actions. I never condoned anything that she said or did towards Brad. I was actually telling her that it was wrong multiple times. We had multiple conversations with her that there's certain things that you just can't say because of the ground and
there's just like a lot
the
of
thing
foundation
like
behind it. Yeah.
yeah, the things that those words hold, the deeper meaning, the history behind that. And I think that there was a certain level of grace and forgiveness that I shared with her that, it was kind of discouraging to see how kind of long it took for her to get to this place of dropping it or the place of just buckling down and apologizing for her actions. It was kind of just disheartening. But ultimately, it was hard for us as people, as Black people. It
Mhm.
was hard for us to watch it because Emmy on the show is our closest friend, is one of our closest,
Well, this season lakes.
you know,
Mhm.
is one of our closest friends. So it was like you're saying these things and it's like you're saying this thing about me too, you know?
Yeah.
It's we're all connected. Like me, Brad, and Michaels have this relationship because we're Black people in America living this experience that that white people just don't get to experience because they don't get to have the same battles as us and they get more privileges than us. And we just needed to make that clear to her, but it wasn't clicking for a long time.
I appreciate you talking about it because, like I said, it's a delicate situation, and I think you both shared
Mhm.
that really, really well. So, thank you. I don't want to get into the specifics of the reunion because we're all going to watch it and be very excited. But do
Mhm.
you think it's fair to say that the group is in a better place after the reunion, or do you think a lot is still left to be figured out?
I would say for a lot of us, I feel like, I wouldn't say resolutional is the word. I would say more so,
Open to improvement.
Okay.
like, I've had a few conversations with some people that I was not really willing to have a friendship with or like move forward 6 months ago, even after we wrapped. So just being able to do that and have those awkward and like weird conversations to really figure out
Mhm.
where and how we move forward, I feel like it's definitely a big step. I don't know. I would definitely say there's a lot of improvement for sure since the reunion.
I don't
Well,
know. I'm here for this reunion.
I'm
Like,
excited to see it.
I feel like we have to watch it first
Yeah.
to really see. Like, I feel like I got everything out of my mind. Michael's got everything out of his mind, and so we really just have to see how it plays out and see where our relationship lands after that to see where we can move forward from. But ultimately, there was a lot of surprises, and I hope that we can all come together and be friends again and be a cohesive group. That's the beauty in this show. We are real friends.
Mhm.
That's right.
I'm
And
like, don't
listen.
push your luck, girl, but okay.
Yeah.
And also, listen, it's not time for the reunion yet. We still have
A few
some
more
episodes this
episodes.
Yes.
season.
Yeah.
We'll just remind everyone, Southern Hospitality airs Wednesdays at 9 on Bravo TV. It's lovely to see you both.